Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Devaide and thank you for tuning in for another video. First of all, happy Easter Sunday. So I'm filming this video on Easter Sunday and I'll be going to church very soon. So I'll be prepping as well as talking about the topic. So from the topic or from the headline, you already know that I'm talking about sexual harassment. We talk about it, but when someone's experiencing it's a different case. I feel like it's still prominent in Nigeria and people don't do anything to stop it when it's happening in public places, especially like markets. So I'm going to talk about sexual harassment and I'll be talking about my experience as well as some people's experience that I gathered from a survey that I did that was available to both genders on my Twitter and Instagram. I think it's still there if you want to still share your own. It's available for everybody. Now let's get started. So let's first of all talk about what sex is, what rape is, and what sexual harassment is, and we'll also be defining what consent is, because I feel like these are important things that I'm going to be saying and I don't want people to interchange it. Okay, so first of all, I'm reading from my laptop right here. What is sex? Sex is a physical activity that is related to or often includes sexual intercourse. So when you're talking about sex, it's going to include sexual intercourse. It's going to be there. Now when I was growing up in boarding house, we were told that sex, there's one guy that has to come to our boarding house in secondary school. He'll be telling us that sex is a forbidden fruit. I mean, no, it's a pot of soup that when you is in the middle of one forest and it's surrounded by dangerous animals. If you enter it, if you taste it, something you will never want to stop. Blah 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 blah. It basically showed us fear instead of just telling us like sex and concept and rape and sexual harassment. We're not really educated about it. I feel, for me personally, as someone who attended a Catholic boarding school, it was just more make them fear so that they won't have sex because they're girls, so they won't get pregnant, which is just rape. Rape is any sexual activity and usually sexual intercourse too, carried out by force. This one does not involve consent. Anything that has to do like with sex and it is not willing, it is rape. There's no, even if you're in the middle of it, even if you're almost at the end and someone says stop and you refuse to stop, you are raping a person. Automatically it comes to rape or it becomes rape. Please. So that's what rape is. Sexual harassment is an uninvited and unwelcome verbal or physical. Verbal means you can use words, or physical you can use body or hair. Sexual nature, especially by a person in authority towards a subordinate such as an employee, student, or anyone that is lower than you, or it can even be someone on top of you. It doesn't really matter. Now, let's talk about consent, which is the last thing that we said we'll talk about. Consent is giving approval or being willing, you understand? So from what you can tell about rape and sexual harassment, it does not involve consent. These things are uninvited, these things are unwilling, this is someone forcing themselves on you. Now, growing up in Nigeria as a female, I feel like I heard more about not having sex more than about consent. I heard more about please cover your body, don't do this, don't do that, don't talk to anybody, don't kiss anybody, don't hold any guy more than you have a right to say yes, you have a right to say no. It's your body. You should be confident. Like I didn't really hear enough about that growing up from both my family side and the educative side, you understand? Both from school, it was also about just fear sex and don't have sex ever. So like I feel like I can't speak for the male version. I can't speak for guys, but I feel like in Nigeria, girls are told not to just have sex. You understand? Just control your urges. You'll be alright. You're supposed to not have sex. You're supposed to not do this. While I feel the guys were allowed to experience their sexuality, they're allowed to, talk about the banked how many girls. I remember in secondary school, there was one person, like, I don't know this person, I don't know if it's true, I don't know anything, but I literally knew that while we were being told not to have sex and whatever, there was literally a group of guys that were having what I knew the highest number of girls they slept with was like 21 girls. And I was like, you're only like how old? How did you sleep with 21 girls? I don't know how true that story is, because you know how secondary school we're all silly and we're all, so that was literally funny to me. So I feel like in Nigeria, men are allowed to, or guys are allowed to express their sexuality more. They're allowed to do whatever they want with their sexuality. And I will be told that, that's how guys behave because they cannot control it. You know how guys, that's how they do. But girls are forced to automatically control themselves by putting in a box that we shouldn't dress like this, we shouldn't respond to sexual advances, we shouldn't. So I feel for me as a woman growing up in Nigeria, my experience was that I automatically kind of knew how to control my sexual urges. Like that's just for me. I automatically knew that I shouldn't be doing this, I shouldn't be doing that, I shouldn't be doing this. And I just knew that sexual activity for a while wasn't for me because I was a girl and I didn't want to get pregnant, which is very, it's very crazy. I don't think it's doable. That's not, you shouldn't put fear into somebody in terms of sex. Now, because of this, I feel like it has brought women to believe that we should control our sexual urges. Sadly, I don't think that's the same thing for men. Not all men, obviously, but most men in Nigeria. Because of it, they are allowed to express their sexuality, and self-control, I don't think, is a big package that comes with living in Nigeria as a male. I'm sorry to say, when it comes to sexual activities, I don't think having sex as self-control is important. I'm so sorry to say, they're allowed to express their sexuality, which is why we come to the topic called sexual harassment. Now, because of this, as a woman too, I also felt like it was my duty to not sexually incite men by covering up my body, by by the way, I'm not going to be doing much of makeup. I'm just trying to blend it out. By covering my body, by not being sexually, by not responding to them sexually, by just managing the situation, even if they sexually harass me because it's my fault, because I'm voluptuous or I'm thick, I'm this and this, which I feel like is so stupid and so disgusting. And so it's something we really need to talk about, especially for the generation that is growing up right now. So I'll talk about some of my sexual harassment experience in Nigeria and why I am really passionate about talking about this topic, because I feel like it's something we're not learned how to control in our society. So I'll be talking about 3 of my different sexual harassment experiences in Nigeria that I thought was really absurd, and most of them were public, by the way. So the first sexual experience I had, or sexual harassment experience I had, I felt like was so embarrassing. It was when I was like, I think it was like when I was 13. And that time, now your girls started growing breast, normal thing, like that's not even. Girls develop early in terms of physical attributes than guys, as a truth. Sorry to say. So it's like my boobs were already out, breasts were already showing, but you become conscious. You don't want people to be looking at your breast. You think, oh my god, I'm so disgusting because I have boobs. How people have going to pay attention to my breasts now. So we went to Ring Road, like in Benin City, in Nigeria in general. We do all these things called like festivals, like to celebrate Easter and the rest. I don't really know what exactly we were doing, but it was at Ring Road, and it was inside like the museum side, not outside. It was inside the Ring Road. I'll show like a picture so you can get the concept. So we're doing something like that, and I went with my brother. Shout out to Uncle Elvis and my uncle and my brother, Uncle Elvis. It was really, really amazing. We're just chilling, walking around, and I remember one angle literally from nowhere came. He saw that I was busty and everything, so he ran up to me and hit me, and he used his hand to like hold my boobs. I was so embarrassed, guys. Like first of all, I felt like not again. I was so embarrassed. I literally wanted to cry. My brother was young girl, but he was vexing. Just like he wanted to like roll up on the guy. I was like, calm down, blah blah blah. My uncle was like, calm down. And I think that's another thing we tend to do. It's if you know someone that is being sexually harassed, let's not calm anybody down. It's right to fight for people. It's right to say this is what you're doing is wrong, so that you can correct that person and shame that person so that they know what they're doing is not right. So as at that age, I was trying to just be mature, and because I felt like it was my fault. Maybe I wasn't even dressed sexually, obviously. I was covered, nothing was showing, but yet I was still sexually harassed in public by a guy way older than me. I was like 14, 15. I was so young. It was extremely embarrassing, and honestly, if I was in that situation again. The second sexual experience that I felt like was very disgusting was when I was going to buy something with my best friend. Shout out to Ivy Aviowo. I love you. I think it was really disgusting. This was probably my top sexual harassment that was shocked. Like, this was really disgusting. So we went to that same. So as we went there to buy these things, guys, there were like two guys. The guy was trying to sell to me, but he was on the road. He was trying to sell to me. I was his customer, but he felt the need to touch my boob and drop my ass. I was so confused. Like, where is this coming from? The guy was touching me. I was shouting. I was like, and there were two of them. The other person was like, guy, what you're doing is not good, stop. He was at least trying to stop him. While the market women that were there, the bus driver, everybody, they just ignored me. Like, what? Like, I was fooling myself. Like, this is normal. This is what women should go through. Like, it was just embarrassing. Hey, I was like, eh? And my friend was like, Debbie, this is what they usually do in this market. Like, and usually I feel like I didn't even experience it usually in market, because we usually go to market with our parents. I mean, my mom, not my parents. Right? My mom usually goes to market, with us and everything. So you're kind of protected because you have an elderly person. But it's like, once you don't know anybody, you should sexually harass. Doesn't make it, like, it was so stupid. So that was the second sexual harassment that I went through. I was like, wow. And it was public and it was so embarrassing because people were watching and they were not doing anything. And we need to curb that culture. Once sexual harassment is going on, we need to emphasize that people should stop that. Because if it's your sister, if it's your mother, if it's your brother, if anyone is sexually harassed, you won't like it now. So why will you keep quiet? So that was very embarrassing for me. And another sexual harassment that I went through that was pretty recent. This one is not even far like the other ones. Okay. This one was in my house. That's why I was like, man, if I don't talk about this topic here, this was in my house in 2021. Like, yeah, it was not even. So what happened in this sexual harassment in my house was so embarrassing. So most of you know, if you know, I did my NYC in 2029. In 2019 in Lagos. So I'll put the link just in case you want to watch that video also, and my thoughts about NYC in Lagos. It was not fun. So I came back from home and one of our neighbors had moved. Now we have like new people and they were guys and whatever. So the first week of coming there and being alone in the house, this set of guys, every time I come outside, the first week, we'll keep sighing, making advances, saying things about like, hey, what kind of stuff? Like, I was like, I'm gonna ignore it. I'm gonna be that person. Not knowing I was setting myself up for a trap. Do you know, for 3 weeks, every time I come out from the house, every time I go to feed the dog, every time I go to change lights, on gel, do all these things, these guys will literally sigh and make advances and like make sexual advances, like, hey, what kind of stuff? And I had to start wearing my headset. If you know me, I love headset, because I was like, I cannot be listening to this. This is rubbish. So one day, your girl Crystal. So I went outside, and this time it was on Saturday. My parents were around. They had to go the gods to do this when my parents are around. So I went to go and check if there was light, because our light had issues or something. So I wanted to be sure if it was our side or was everybody's side. So I now went there. Do you know these people were now making advances at me? So I just ignore. So this time I gave them like the FU sign, you understand? Then they now had the guts to start negging me. So if you don't know what negging means like if you are making sexual advances or sexually harassing somebody and they're unwilling, you start degrading them or saying mean things. It doesn't even have to be sexual harassment. It could just be you're an insecure person. You just want to negatively or say something negative about somebody so that they will like you. For example, if a guy is striking me and I'm forming, or I don't like the guy and I'm ignoring him, you know, start saying, see you with your ugly face, with your broke legs, with your, all this stupid stuff. So that's negging, and they use it in a way to make you feel a certain way so that you can accept them, which is dumb, by the way. Don't support it, don't normalize it in any relationship, friendship, relationship, it is rubbish. So these guys had the balls to neg me, like they were negging me, insulting my body, insulting everything. I crazy. So like that day, oh god, I literally dressed up and I told my parents I'm going to meet them. So like I was already moving, so my parents were like, okay, let's just go together. We went there and talked to them. And I shouted at them, I insulted them because it was too much, it was disgusting. So it just makes me wonder, why does it have to be that I will have to be the aggressor, or I have to shout, or like like I have to be rude or shout for sexual harassment to stop in Nigeria? Why do I have to be like, oh, are you crazy for sexually harassing me? Then you now start looking at me as if I'm the crazy one. Meanwhile, you have been sexually harassing me. So this kind of thing, I feel like if these men had sexually controlled their sexual urges, I will not be embarrassed. I will not be scarred for life. I won't have to be aggressive. I won't have to. You understand? Now, as I was doing this, I decided to check on other people's perspective about sexual harassment in Nigeria, which is why I did this survey. Like I said, just in case you still want to write something and you feel like you want to share your story, I don't want to leave it in the comments. It will be on my link on my Instagram and my Twitter, so that you can feel comfortable to just air out what you feel like you have been holding for a long time. So for people's sexual harassment, guys, like when I tell you like people have been sexually harassed, now the ratio of male to female sexual harassment, from what I have gathered, females are sexually harassed more, and they are sexually harassed more by males than females. Then males are they're not sexually harassed as much, but when they do, it's still as bad, and it's just really terrible. Most of the males I talked to were able to tell me that they have never been sexually harassed. That is a female thing, and I was just like, it can be for anybody. And I feel that statement is a female thing is really wrong, because you give that toxic masculinity among your friends, and they may not be able to talk about things that they are going through with you. I think with females it's easier to talk about sexual harassment, rape, and maybe confide in somebody. I don't know how it is for males. I don't know. I don't really know. Like, from what I could gather, I don't think it's that easy, honestly. I talked about this survey that I did, and I noticed that for women, the age group was about 6 to 20 years old. That's when they have experienced sexual harassment for the first time. But for males, they were 11, 12, and 36, and most of them said never too. So, and all of them also were dressed modestly according to them. They weren't sexually, because you tell yourself the truth. That's the truth. If you were dressed somehow and you feel that was the reason, which is not, it's not a reason, please. But if you feel like you were dressed a certain way, they would have said that. But none of them dressed anyhow, and they were all sexually harassed. That should tell you and to show you that sexual harassment has nothing to do with dressing. It is just the person who is doing it should have self-control, control your urges. Then I also noticed that I also believe in the dress the way you want to be addressed. I don't think that is true. I believe that people need to look beyond your dressing, honestly, because what if that's what I have to wear? You need to look beyond your dressing and control yourself. That's what I feel. I think that's I've covered as much as I want to cover when it comes to talking about sexual harassment and what I have experienced. For people's experience that I checked on my WhatsApp group, it was really terrible. Like, some of them really made me cry. I was emotional. Like, I couldn't believe people were. It's so common among women, guys, and something we really need to talk about, especially the males. The reason why I'm saying especially the males, you and your friends need to talk about sexual harassment and see if your friend normalizes it, like, or thinks it's okay to sexually harass a woman. It is not, please. And also feel like when you see something like that, you need to check your friend. In case he's just making it as a joke or it's not a big deal, check him. Tell him it's a big deal. People go through it. Anybody can go through it. Men are sexually harassed by men, and men are sexually harassed by women, or women are sexually harassed by men and women. So it's like, it's not a one gender thing, because I see on Twitter a lot of people, when a woman is raped, a lot of people be like, oh my god, men get raped too. That's when you guys start to talk about men getting raped and sexual harassment with men, blah blah blah, by women. I'm like, yeah, it's important to talk about sexual harassment with men, don't get me wrong, but if you are only bringing it up when a woman is raped, then you don't really care about sexual harassment about men. You just want to defend your gender. Just tell the truth. If you are only bringing it up when a woman is being raped, you are just trying to defend your gender. Why don't, when we're talking about Wizkid's album or somebody amazing or Davido, someone can just bring up, like, you can just bring up sexual harassment about men. It doesn't have to be only when women are raped. And I'm telling you, feminists will support you. If they don't support you, point them out. We will literally tell them. Like me, I would, because I literally support sexual harassment victim. It's disgusting, it's nasty. Which other thing, right? Yeah, and also I think that for Twitter, please, it's not a gender war. The way you guys carry this sexual harassment stuff like it's a gender war between girls and women and men is not. We're all in this society together. We're all fighting against one thing. We all want people to be happy, just like in NSAS protest. It's not police versus youths. It's nothing like that. We are all just trying to look for a way to be happy, a way for everybody to be respected, So yeah, I just hope that that's where we will reach. That's what I'm just trying to do. I'm just trying to strike up a conversation. Please make sure you comment, write down what you feel about this whole thing that I've talked about. Do you think sexual harassment is normalized? Do you think it's okay in Nigeria? Do you think it's manageable? And if you feel like you have a story to tell and you are comfortable enough, please go to my page on my Instagram, Twitter, and please write down on the survey. It's always available and it will always be there for you guys. So thank you so much for tuning to another video. Guys, I used to get to church. I feel like I'm already late. I think I look cute. Thanks so much for tuning into this video. I hope you have a blessed day. And yeah, thank you so much. Make sure you like, subscribe, click on the notification button for more content. I'll be talking about more topics like this because I feel like I'm very comfortable with talking about things that I have experienced and sharing it and making sure that other people don't experience it too. So bye guys, love you, thank you so much, bye.